Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches, buenos Kill Team. Estamos con un programa muy especial esta noche. Estamos acompañados por Marcos, ¿qué tal?
Buenas, tanto tiempo sin verlos.
¿Qué tal? Ahí estamos acompañados por Facu también, que acaba de volver del Warp, estaba desaparecido.
¿Qué tal? Aparecí.
Y tenemos un invitado muy especial esta noche. Nos está acompañando Jimmy Kelly, de Kell Team. El muchacho quedó cuarto en el Mundial de Kill Team, que se hizo hace un par de semanas. Hello, Jimmy, how are you? Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm doing great. So yeah, I'm Jimmy Kelly. Sometimes they call me Kimmy Jelly because Glass Half Dead messed up my name after LVO this year. So I'm oftentimes portrayed as a purple jellyfish. So yeah, I'm a Kill Team player in the United States. Our team, Kell Team, is based on my last name. I play with my kids. So we're the Kellys. We travel and play together, and we love the color purple. So everything we do is purple. So it's my personality is basically a color, and I'm a jellyfish. So there we go.
Perfect.
Great.
It's a nice color.
Well, thank you.
Well, thanks for being with us tonight. We are going to discuss and see the key moments of the final of Kill Team for the World Championship. We will discuss with you a few things. You can tell us your impressions on what you know, and basically just have a nice time.
I do reserve the right to talk a lot of trash and insult a lot of people. So I should have probably said that in the intro too.
Yeah, please.
We expect nothing less.
Yeah, I'm known a little bit as a villain. I like to be very caustic. So with a smile. I smile, but say many mean things. So, okay, let's proceed.
Can I ask something before starting?
Oh, of course. Please.
Yeah. Okay. Taking in mind you won 7 gold tickets in USA, and you ended up playing for Canada. You want to trust a little bit for the World Cup organization before starting?
Yeah, so I didn't, in the end, I was still USA. What happened was GW, because they have so much going on, they're so busy, they made a mistake and they entered my name as Canada. And I thought like, oh, that's silly. I'm sure it'll get fixed. I'm sure no one will notice or care. Everyone noticed and everyone cared very deeply. And a lot of the American players were very upset and they said, Jimmy, how can you betray our great country? And I said, well, you elected Trump, so I don't care anymore. So I just as a joke thought like, oh, this is fun. Maybe I should just be on Team Canada. I don't know if you've ever met any of the Canadian players. They probably don't go to South America very much anyway, but they're great players. They're really nice. And I just told the Canadian players, I'm like, hey, maybe I'll just be with you guys. And they said, this is great. We don't find anything offensive or we don't care. So I bought before the tournament a little Canadian flag and sewed it on my hat. And this made the U.S. players very mad. And during the finals, once I made to top 8 and top 4, I found word that they were basically planning to kill me. They were like, look, you're not going to survive to the final game if you don't change this to Team USA right now. So I went to GW and I was like, look, my life's in jeopardy. They're going to kill me. You got to put me back over as Team USA. I thought this was funny, and no one else thought this was funny. Everyone thought this was very bad and in very poor taste. But if America wants more players in the top, just get better. You guys got to do better and make it up there, and you're fine. It won't even matter what team I play for, what country. Anyways, everyone was very mad at it, and I just thought it was fun, and I had fun with it. And no one likes that. No one likes having fun for a game. It's a game. We should have fun. Anyway, so yeah, I've never even stepped foot in Canada. I don't know how to speak Canadian. I barely speak English. Someone told me that they speak English there. I wouldn't know. I've never been. But yeah, so I had fun with it. No one liked it.
What are you talking about?
That's Canadian. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a little announcement in Spanish and we will carry on. Queremos, la verdad, también agradecer, antes de seguir, a la gente de Kill Team Granada, que nos ha cedido algunas de sus imágenes. Sabemos que cuesta mucho ir a transmitir allá, es un gran esfuerzo y queremos agradecer. Podríamos haber bajado el video y copiado, pero pedimos permiso y estuvieron de acuerdo, así que buenísimo. Y también con la gente de Squad Game, que ahora, bueno, lo voy a tener que decir en inglés. We would like to thank the people from Squad Games who were really nice. They let us play their videos, a little of the footage of the finals, and we could do this without asking for permission, but we know it's very hard to do this. It's a great endeavor, and we have to thank Jimmy for this. He spoke to Dakota, and through Jimmy, we were able to get permission to use this footage. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you. And Dakota and Squad Games, amazing people. So it's great to see their work used and them talked about. So it's great stuff.
Ok. Bueno, vamos a ver, vamos a analizar primero los videos, vamos a ver, porque los partidos duran 4 horas. Vamos a seleccionar unos momentos y vamos a ver los más importantes, porque duran 4 horas, hay muchas cosas que no suceden, muchas cosas que se caen, que se tocan, eso es divertido, pero bueno, los partidos duran como 4 horas. Vamos a ver lo más importante. Jimmy, we're gonna to watch a few videos of the key moments of the final, and we will not see all 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you see all 4 hours?
I don't know. I really do like to watch 4 hours of careful measuring. So
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah.
It was like watching a carpenter. Just measuring.
Yes.
Yeah, measure and measure and measure. But to set the scene, just so that everyone is on the same plane here. So this is going to be the final game. It was Dan Barton from England playing World Coven against Javier Escu from Spain, playing Spain in English, playing Legionaries. It was Mission 9 coordinates, and it was on map 5 Volcus.
Thank you, Marcos. ¿Vemos el primer video, Lauti?
Yeah, you can be placed anywhere around here. Okay. Yep.
So
A little bit farther.
here is
As
could
you
be
can do,
the
you have
great
to
position.
kind of curve back this way. You've only got 2 inches, so like that.
Using this was a counteract. Yeah, this was a counteract, and he moved forward. And then that happens.
So pointing here, within 2 of him, within 2 of him. Yes.
Sí, va a moverse y disparar los dos. Uno a uno y otro a otro.
Declaring Doombolt against the leader.
Primero dados. Ese. Doombolt al líder con releles. Es el letal 5, puede joder bastante.
Okay, so Dan moved up a model within 2. Which model? A sorcerer, I'm guessing, right? I
Yeah,
can see the model.
Yeah, it was the sorcerer with Doombolt, and
Okay.
he
he's-
previously had the temporal flux placed on him, so he's flying, and also
Got
he
it.
has the flight boon, so he's flying there.
Okay. And he's shooting the model that just counteracted to move over with the Doom Bolt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
Which is under a smoke grenade, but because he moved, he now
Within
is
2.
ignoring the smoke.
Exactly.
Oh, he's not in the smoke. Okay, well, he could have gotten within 2 anyways. But okay, so he's not in the smoke. Got it. Doombolt.
He's in the smoke, but because the other one is less than 2 inches from
Doesn't
him,
matter.
it
Why,
doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, because the Dumbo
Yeah.
doesn't need to be on close range.
Yeah, I heard him mention that he was within 2 of the model. So okay.
Yeah.
So smoke's not a
Yeah.
factor. All right. Let's see the roll and see what happens.
Dos críticos, releles, bueno, no hace falta que lo tire.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Puedes repetir uno, ¿eh? Pues si eres Dan, repites uno. Me fueron 4. Ah, no.
2 mortales, 4 y 4, 8.
10, 12. Pues se ha dejado 8 una mierda.
Lo repite, falla. Pues tío, la he dejado herida.
Muy
2
doloroso.
crits and 1 normal
Muy
hit.
doloroso. Regular, ahora regular.
Me han metido 4 mortales y 8 de esos de vida. Eso es correcto. Fua.
Qué horror de mapa para los dos, ¿eh? Buah.
So each crit here
Creo que
also
decía
trigger
antes, ¿no? Que
devastating
la
2.
gente se queja-
So it's 12 damage total.
Yeah. I was doing the math too. This is the best part of Kill Team. All the math. That's why we play.
Yeah. And now he's just shooting him.
Está muerto. Lo
This is with Inferno Pistol, I'm assuming.
Con la pistola.
Yeah, I think it was just either that or a normal bolter,
Ah, que va con pistola.
which I don't know why he replaced that 3 with that 4. He didn't need to.
Está comprobando.
Y hace el fallback y se ha ventilado al líder.
So yeah, they're saying that he cannot save it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's over. Which model was it he shot? I can tell there's a model there. I can't see.
Is
The
the
Chosen.
yeah, the
His
chosen.
leader.
Oh,
What's his leader?
oh, the Chosen. Okay, yeah. Oof.
Turn 2.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And the end of turn 2. This is the first time anybody shot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is the trouble with Warp Coven. If they make those crits, all those strengths and durability of Legionary just means nothing. It just eats right through it.
They got crits
Devastating.
all the time.
Yeah, no, he did in my game too. There was plenty of them.
Yeah.
Es el líder, esta 15, esta 3 de vida.
And especially when you have a lot of lethal 5 and you have Fate is my weapon. It's
A ver, sí, a ver.
you can stack up those
Le han metido
crits.
4 mortales.
Yeah. And then he just teleports back because he has the flag
Yep.
token.
Yep. So it's not even a trade. It's just snatching one of the most important models off the board, and you lose nothing for it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you can pay and flip it back to conceal. It's one of the strongest moves Warp Coven has. You don't have to expose yourself. It doesn't matter if you have smoke. It doesn't matter if you're behind heavy cover. You just move where you need to. You take 2 powerful shots, and even if you have you use warded armor to give yourself the 2-up save, it doesn't matter. Like if they get those crits, it's just, it is powerful. You can turn off piercing. Doesn't matter. It just
Yeah.
it's a Chosen. He has an extra wound. Doesn't matter. It's ugh. You-
Sorry.
Just no counterplay into it. Yeah, well, it's tough though because it's all risky. If you get the crits, like and you get those 2 crits, or there's times you got 3 or 4 crits, then it's really tough. The devastating, and it's so much harder to save. You basically have to roll 6s. That's so hard to deal with. But if you don't roll the crits, all right, Legionary can deal with that fine. If you have warded armor up, you have extra wounds, you're going to make your saves. But it's the crits when that lethal 5, and if you just happen to spike, it's very hard to deal with. But it's risky. Dan could have done that move and rolled, 4 hits instead of 2 crits, 2 hits, and the Chosen's alive. But he got a crit on the bolt pistol, and he got 2 crits on the Doom bolt, and there's nothing you can do. It's he has to pay CP to re-roll to get extra 6s to barely live.
Yeah.
Very
it still
tough.
wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Well, that was the
And-
first key moment of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, one small thing about this, not Dan won, and that went well. So it's weird to give a tip what could have been better. But one thing as a strategy concept, it might actually be better to shoot the bolt pistol first instead of the Doom bolt. The Doom bolt has more variability, and you don't know how it's going to go. You can make a Legionary player burn CP on defense rerolls if you have a good shot with the bolt pistol, and then you hit him with the doom bolt afterwards, they don't know how that's going to go, and you might end up actually making a legionary or your opponent burn CP potentially on trying to get better defense rolls on that bolt pistol, when in reality we know when you see both together it wouldn't have mattered. But if he did the bolt pistol first, you might have actually forced a few CP to be burned. So it didn't matter for Dan in the end, and he still won. So this is not like really like, oh, Dan played poorly. Just a thought to consider: bolt pistol first and then doom bolt. But most people get eager and they're excited. There was what, an hour and a half before the first shot, and some people get eager, just they want to take that powerful shot first. And so sometimes, as a thought to consider, do the weak shot first. Force them to decide if they want to potentially spend to, try to save everything or save a crit or whatever it might be. Because statistically, 3 defense dice on 3s, one's going to be a miss. Have them burn a CP to try to get 3 successes on the bolt pistol, and then hit them. You still need the crits to go through to make that. You don't know if it'll happen, but there's a better chance, even if both shots go well, you make them spend a CP or maybe 2. For that same thought.
Makes sense.
Take notes, people.
Take notes.
Amazing. Thank
But
you.
also, it's nice that you say this, because this is going to come up later in another clip.
Yes.
Ooh, fantastic.
Yes.
would-
It's very appropriate.
Anyway, if you burn,
Okay, so this is great.
if you burn CPs from legionnaires, anyway, I think he had like 8 CPs at that point.
Yeah, a lot. That is one of the biggest strengths of Legionary. Everyone focuses on the piercing reduction and like the durability, but the team just piles up CP. And the more you can do, if you're playing against them, you have to eat through it. You've got to get rid of that CP as fast as you can, and forcing them to spend it when it's questionable or when it may not matter can make a huge difference. And I said this off stream before we recorded. To be totally transparent, I actually haven't seen this game. Despite the fact I was there, I was busy playing a ridiculous game with Shane from Command Point, like a few feet away. I didn't watch this, and I didn't have time to go and watch the stream later. I've heard some things, but I'm watching this. This is a blind react for me, so I'm just sharing what comes up. So if anything does relate to later, purely by coincidence.
Nice.
It is. Everything is true. Ok. Vemos el siguiente video, Lauti. We're going to see the next play. Marcos, can you remind me? This is turn 3, where the Melta fails.
Yes, exactly. And here, Escu has finally set up everything so that he can move up his Melta and shoot off one of the mages off the table.
Acaba de decir que ahora mismo que donde está, después de tirar la crack, 100% que el Melta le llega a disparar.
Aquí hemos venido a animarnos a ser racionales. Pero vaya, independiente de los dados, Dan está jugando muy bien, así que bueno, pues...
That happens a lot.
Yeah, this is one of the infamous things about the game is the bumping. But one thing I always tell my opponents when we play, it's a good thing this is Kill Team and not Operation. I don't know if you have the game Operation down there. Have you heard of the game or aware of it?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
you pull the things out without touching the sides. It's all about like, oh, how fine motor skills do you have? I would lose at that game every day. I knock over everything on the table. So it's tough.
Here is he's shooting with the Melta.
Okay, here we go.
Le deniegas por lo menos un punto, no sé si le deniegas los dos, pero uno se lo deniegas.
No, uno sí, yo estoy diciendo el segundo, el de estar completamente a 6.
Pero el tema es que si sobrevive va a tener un counteract.
Porque le queda activar al hechicero, que está ahí encima con el este.
Ya es, pero tiene que estar completamente dentro de 6, y ahí parece que no.
Mira la regla que está al lado puesta, la amarilla.
Yeah, you guys mentioned carpenters. They have an expression, measure twice, cut once. In Kill Team, it's measure 8,000 times, shoot once.
Exactly.
That was 7 inches up.
Oops. I think we didn't include the shoot.
Oh no.
No, you
This is the
didn't.
wrong video.
No, I mean it's part of it because the thing is the measuring took like 4 minutes.
Yeah. So it was one of the shortest measurings of the game.
Basically, yeah.
We will have
Can
to
we fix
replace
it?
that video later.
Yeah, we'll have to replace the
Okay.
video later. But how can we convey to you the thing? Well, I will narrate it. Does that works? I narrate what happened.
Yes, we will have to do.
So they finally measure everything out. They finally make sure that he can shoot. So he grabs the thing, melts a AP2 is going to be great. Shoots 2 twos, 2 ones.
Yep. Ugh.
I think he rerolls 1 dice and it's still a 1. And then what does he do? He shoots with his pistol, which I think it manages to hit once, but it doesn't. Dan doesn't even need to try to save it because there's no danger from the melter anymore.
With that melta, you've got one shot. It's not melee. So if you charge in and you survive, you're still in melee, you're protected. You know, no one's going to be shooting you right away. But now you have an engaged model in the middle of the open. It looks like for most shots, you wouldn't even get cover saves.
Yeah.
Warp Coven destroys that model. It does not survive, even if it's Nurgle, which is one of the reasons why I do think you always take the Nurgle, or the gunner as Zinch, because that little bit of extra protection is just not going to be enough. If Warp Coven, if that model's out there and they get multiple shots, they're taking that model down. I'm guessing that's what happened, right?
Yeah, we are going to say it later.
Yeah. But so what's so tough here is there's things you can talk about. Like, for example, if that gunner was Zinch, you can pay to make it 4 APL. Then it gets to move, dash, and double shoot. Both shots, if you get a hit, you do have severe. So 1 crit from a Melta is still powerful. It's worth spending more CP to get more rerolls. But what's so tough is none of it really matters when you roll 2 1s and 2 2s, and then your first rerolls back into a 1. It kind of like all your strategy, and this is where you have to have an understanding with the game. When you go to play this, no matter how much planning, no matter how perfect you want to do everything, when you get to actually play the game, if you just roll all misses, you know, you got to take it.
Yeah.
It's that's the game, and it's tough. It's you only bring so much planning and so much, you know, skill to the game. Then you have to trust the dice gods.
Yes. Trust the dice gods, trust RNG Jesus.
Yes.
There was a saying over here that you don't need dice to win. What do you say to that?
Oh, I agree. I guess when you look at people that consistently win, they're going to get good dice and bad dice, and board control and good play win games most of the time. But also, if you look at this skill level at the top, when you have 2 great players who are playing great games, dice will be the biggest single decider in how that game goes. If you have a good meta balance and 2 great players, you know, I was telling my son who showed up to Worlds, and he's an amazing player. He's been taking down tournaments, and he got like 24th. He had a few crushing losses, like 2 Warp Coven. And it's one of those things at that level, you can't show up and expect to outplay the best players in the world. They're great players. Like you do it. The dice do become much more of a factor when you're sitting down with just incredible players who spend 4 hours measuring out every single thing over and over and over again. You're not going to beat someone because they've missed something or they've made a mistake, right? Like, so I think for learning the game and getting into it, you can't blame dice. You have to find a way to see what you've missed, understand the board control, the position, the strategy. That's 99% of it. That's where you put all of your focus on. But you have to have the humility to be able to just, when you have play the best game you can, you have to be like, hey, sometimes it happens. Like you roll all misses, take it on the chin. Don't get too crazy or angry, and you have to accept it. But as a player, when you're giving advice to people, if you say, oh, well, I could have won, but it was just dice, that doesn't help you. You never get better if you just blame dice.
Yeah. So here we see the death of the Melta.
So now this is fun to consider because this Melta's Nurgle. Taking this Nurgle is even more durable.
Yeah, and yeah, they're screaming because Dan just rolled that, but
Yeah,
he has
but more shots are coming.
more shots are coming, and he's a ceaseless, and his magic dice, and little 5.
No, no, matar no le mata, pero. Bueno, si no lo mata. Ahora veremos que salva. Ahora veremos que salva. Veremos que salva. No puede ser.
Now, do we know what
Yeah.
weapon he's shooting with? Is it like a Inferno
He's-
Flamer? Like
It's the Doom Bolt.
Doom Bolt? Of course, it's the Doom Bolt. Yeah.
Le han metido 10
Yeah.
y 4, 14.
So we saw him roll twice. Was the second roll from like Ceaseless from the
Yeah.
strategic ploy? Okay. So he's allowed to just have a terrible roll and then he gets a second chance.
Exactly.
So
Ya, pero
yeah.
le dispara ahora y se mete en su zona. Pues tiene uno, Cisles, sí, con Vantage. A ver, se puede salvar, se puede salvar, se puede salvar.
And now he's shooting with the Flux Blast, which he took from the other one.
He visto que se falla 3 más todo el rato, tío.
He just needs one thing to go through, and then roll that one.
And by the way, in America, we have an expression I heard from last edition. It's not stats don't kill you, rerolls kill you. Like teams that have access to rerolls, that's stuff that is very hard to overcome. You don't have to survive. Like, it's like, hey, it gives you that second chance. Like, okay, I rolled bad. But like, think about in that Melta shot, if he had Ceaseless on that, well, he gets 2 free rerolls off the bat. And then, so you have to have like 8 dice go bad against you for that shot to go wrong. That's really hard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Have you tried the ceaseless mark on the dictionaries?
I think it's really interesting. I think there's a lot of teams where it could be really beneficial. Into the Warp Coven match is not enough because you either do want that little bit of extra durability from Nurgle at times. Like if you have team wide, there's a lot of piercing on Warp Coven, so it's helpful. Or if you go Zinch, you need adding the APL, having severe. Those are really good. If you just go like you do sacrifice, you can gain ceaseless, but you sacrifice a decent amount to take it. Access to ploys, the benefits. It is kind of tough. But I think there's times where you do want to go undivided to get ceaseless.
This is from before. This is T3. Yeah, it's T3, but way before the Melta. If I don't, let's remember correctly. So he charged with that Legionnaire to a Sangor. It was the Sangor champion, which was on that edge of the stronghold on Dan's side. He previously moved. You can see it right there. He can see move another Legionnaire and tap the point, and he took an APL away from the Sangor.
Okay. So did he charge and pass, or did he charge and fight?
No, he charged and passed twice.
Okay.
And he was expecting the Sangor to fight him once and not win, and then just.
If it's that Zangor champion, is it the one with brutal or with rend? I'm assuming with rending, right? Lethal 5 rending.
I think so. I don't know my Sangors that well. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So 3 crits. Yep, that's about right.
Yeah.
2 crits. Rending and lethal 5. And Fizzless, you can roll this one.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. So hang on, I could swap one. I don't think so. Yeah, go ahead.
Ugh.
Thinking about it.
Yep.
I'm going to roll. Yep.
Okay.
Go.
Put you for 5, down to 4.
Yeah.
Okay, what you carry you? Put you for 5, down to 4.
Oh, one more question. Was the icon bearer within 3 inches of the champion?
I think it's nearby. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
so
in the range.
that turns him like a skin thief or the anointed. It's -1 damage and all the everything being pushed back.
Yeah. But also, the thing is that we were all very confused at first, and then we read the rules. That Sangor champion can fight twice if he fought
Yes.
the first time for free. So that -1 APL did not
Didn't
end up
matter.
doing anything.
Nope.
Yeah, the thing is, Escu made a whole move to get inside the stronghold and make that play, but he forgot, and the Sangor fight twice,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
pointless.
It was. And that Zangor champion can kill pretty much any. Not the Chosen, though. The Chosen will heal if it strikes with 1 crit, and it'll make it very hard. So he eliminated. Yeah, so he eliminated the Chosen basically for free with the Doom Bolt. And that was the only model he had to worry about in melee with that champion.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And if you can see, Escu is not having the best luck here either.
No.
Javier is rolling the orange. Dan is rolling the blue.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. That Legionnaire, it killed the Sangor, but it ended up with only 3 health.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, he got killed after.
Yeah. Ugh.
So.
Yeah. So this is what's interesting too. And this is, I think, a great point about how dice are not the key deciders. We look at these 3 plays, and you look at how bad the dice were against Escu, right?
Yeah.
And the game was close. The dice went so bad against him, and he was playing a strong team, and he still kept it close. So that's Escu. The Spanish players are amazing players. Their board control and their ability to just understand and control the game is fantastic. So even when their dice are terrible and their opponent's dice are just stacked with crits, he's still able to keep that game close. Whereas most people, if this happened, it would have been 19 or 20 to 3 or 4 points. So you give yourself the best chance you can with board control and understanding the game. And then you just need, if some of these dice rolls go a little bit better, it could have been Escu's game.
Next clip.
Yeah.
Here.
And not since. I'll stop him this time. 2. Only 2.
Yeah. Points were very close. It was, and here what you say about the game being close, it was really close, because here Escu has 6 crit points and Dan has 5. They both have 2 tackle points. But Dan is clearly winning in kill up, so I think the difference is about 3 points. Which, if Dan had the tackle primary and the other one had the crit up, it would have been a win from Dan for a difference of 1 point. But for some reason they thought it was going to be a draw, which I'm not sure how they came to that conclusion, but that's why Dan is shooting the flamer here, to make sure it's not a draw.
He checked a couple of times with his shots, so it must be correct.
Revealing primaries, and that's game.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing about the new edition too. It's a more complicated scoring, and it's hard, especially like this was game 10, 4 days straight. Everyone's tired, and to do that extra math and try to figure things out, and you're trying to guess on what your opponent's primary is. It is confusing. Like you go back and forth. The game, one of my last games against the Spanish players, Alberto Cortez. He thought we were playing it out, and he thought for sure it was going to end in a tie. And I just picked a primary he didn't expect, and I won by 1 point. but he was going through the math over and over again, and he's like, yeah, it's going to be a tie. It's going to be a tie. And then with the primaries revealed, he thought I was a madman because I do unexpected things. So it was a surprise win by 1 point, but there's a lot to factor in. And then there's that unknown hidden aspect to it. So yeah, it is confusing in the last edition, it was very easy. Normally by the time you start the fourth turn, you would know, you could look at the board, be like, yeah, I'm going to win by 2, or you're going to win by 3, or whatever.
Yes.
This is much more subtle. It's a little bit harder to figure out. So, and everyone's new to it. So like in a few months will be better, but it'll still be some uncertainty.
On this last clip, we saw that the game could end in a draw. We have a thing over here in the previous edition of Kill Team that we call it point team, not kill team.
Yeah.
And taking in mind on this last match of the World Tournament, Dan had like a lot more of shoots and was more aggressive than Escu by far, and it almost ended in a draw. Is point team still a thing?
I mean, it's always points, right? But what was the thing that won the thing for Dan? He killed more. If you can keep your models alive and kill, you have such a strong edge in this edition. Whereas in the last edition, you could be tabled. Like, there was a lot of teams, like Brute actually had a lot more gameplay than people realized, because you could just run out, touch the points, and die. Get your secondaries, just, especially in loot. Like, there were some in the last edition, you could just run out, grab your points, have your models die, and kill little to nothing of the other team and win. Like, that was a thing that could happen, and it can happen now. It's much harder. Like, the game really is much more largely decided by if you can kill your opponent and stay alive. It's such a huge thing. So that's why durability is so strong. Like Legionaries and Warp Coven, they're very durable and they're very killy. And it's why they have such a strong edge in this meta right now, because they kill and they survive, and it just wins them so many games. But it still is like board control and points are still the whole game. It's just a lot of those points are based on killing and surviving. So it creates a huge swing. So in this game, if Escu had killed 1 or 2 more models and had one more model survive, then he would have won.
Yeah.
So he needed a little more survivability and a little more killing, just a hair more. Like, literally one more kill one way could have won that game back. I would have to know exactly, the kill op score, like how many models were removed, but literally one more model might have been enough to bring it to a draw. One more model surviving or one more model killing could have been all the difference.
That's the thing with Warcoven, which is because they take 2 Sangors, which cause they are half selection, but they actually count as 2 whole models for the kill up. So if you kill one model, you end up in grade 1, but you need to kill 2 more to reach grade 2. And in a fight like this, where it's 6 against 7, the 6th team is immediately in disadvantage, especially if the other one does not expose the weak ones.
Yeah, absolutely. But as to that question about, it does feel more like Kill Team than Point Team. It feels like it's shifted more that way. But if you ever, you can never forget the points. You can never forget the board control, the primary, the tac op. All that stuff is still so crucial. But I don't think it's purely like Kill Team, like just kill people. But I do think it's shifted that way. It's moving that way.
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you, Jimmy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me, guys. It's a depressing clip to watch. It's
it's kind of have been a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys were definitely obviously like rooting for Escu too. It's I didn't have a dog in the fight because Canada wasn't playing, obviously. So
Wait a minute.
I didn't.
I have another clip that I didn't show.
Ooh, great.
And this is basically the Spanish cheering for Escu.
Okay.
Jamás.
Van a ser los ropajes místicos. No, ya está.
Do you have the sound on
La
the
cara de
streaming?
Escu ya lo dice todo.
No. Vamos. Arriba,
I
¿eh?
can hear. Yeah.
Da igual ya. Sí, da igual.
No, todo lo contrario, no conoces a Escu. Escu no baja los brazos jamás.
Van a ser los ropajes místicos. No, ya está. La cara de Escu ya lo dice todo.
Yeah,
He's just
with
not
the hand.
having it.
Yeah. If we could take a second to talk about Dan Barton here real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Total madman. So obviously he's wearing Ratman's coat.
Yeah.
I'd actually talked to Ratman early in the tournament, and I had plans. My plan was I was going to steal his coat. And then I decided that's too mean. I can't do that. Plus, Ratman looks a little crazy. I was like, he might kill me. I was debating. I'm like, he has murderous eyes. Like, you got to get, like, he is the Ratman, right? Like, he might find out which room I'm at that hotel and just like get me in the middle of the night. So I'm like, I don't think I can steal his coat. But I went to him. I was like, okay, Ratman, if I make the final game, I'm wearing your coat. And he agreed. He's like, yes, absolutely. So the game before this, I was playing Dan, and he got me. And I was just telling him, I was like, the bummer is if I'd won and I was going to the final game, I'd wear Ratman's super cool coat, his giant coat. I was like, I think you should go ask Ratman for his coat. And I looked down to grab my models, and I looked up, bam, he was right next to me wearing the coat. He was like, on it, I got the coat. And so he wore it the whole thing. And then I was like, you need more than the coat. And I took off my sunglasses, and I gave him my sunglasses. So he's wearing my purple sunglasses. And we're like, we need more. We need more. So he went to John Reese from Can You Roll a Crit, and he got his Filipino and his Welsh flags to wear him as capes. And he just straight-faced wore that the entire match for 4 hours. And he looked like an insane person. He looked like a guy who just escaped the madhouse. And I don't even know what that does to Escu for the mental warfare.
That's
like
aura.
That's true. That's true.
That's aura right there.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to play an actual crazy person. Like, I thought I was here for like a championship game, and like they put you up against a literal madman. So it's like, I know if you're watching this and you're seeing this like lavish person wearing a giant, is that a cheetah coat or is it a leopard? I don't know. I don't know the cat animals very well.
It was a rat coat. It was a rat coat.
A rat coat. Of course it's a rat coat. Yeah, absolutely. What was I thinking? So he's wearing that coat and the flags and the glasses. And I mean, you have to deal with that for 4 hours. That's crazy. We should send Escu some sympathy just for that. Like, you shouldn't be forced to play against crazy people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think it encapsulates Kill Team as a whole, because the community is very nice. We are coming together. It was fun. It was very fun.
We are a bit crazy.
It was very sad they all come together to destroy Escu, but that's fine.
I did feel bad about that. I love the Spanish players, and I felt bad. I was like, oh man, I did like the idea of showing the camaraderie. Like, we had a Welsh player. Ratman's he's from Argentina, right?
Yes, he's a friend of ours.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we have from Argentina, we have Welsh and Filipino, like all these different cultures, different players, but it's only one side, and that's really unfair. So I feel like we did too much goodwill, and the dice gods just completely favored Dan. They just gave him all the dice rolls. I should have given him, I should have gone to Escu and given him some of my rings or something, balance it out, like give him my watch. I don't know. I should have given him something.
Yeah. Some kind of
that was my mistake. I did this. I'm at fault for this bad outcome. So I apologize to all the Spanish-speaking community. This was I own this. This is me.
You were in the final, I don't know if you are aware, but the Spanish players from Spain called the warrior legionary Jimmy Kelly.
Yeah, I found that out at Worlds.
Yeah.
And the guy who started that was Escu. He started that tradition, and the entire Spanish community calls their warriors Jimmy. And it's funny because I went there. I brought Legionary, and I love the warrior model, and I didn't know anyone else did. And I was like, I think I'm going to make a name for myself by leaning heavily into the warrior model. And I went there, and I was like, too late. That's already a thing. I'm already tied to the warrior model. So for during this game, when I was playing Shane from Command Point, I wanted to have a fun game. So I talked to Carlos ahead of time about this. I was like, look, here's my plan. I want to run a game with a leader and 5 warriors. And he told me, he's like, Jimmy, you're a madman. Don't do this. I'm like, it'll be fun. Just trust me. It'll be fun. So for the last game, I went to all the other Legionary players, a few Spanish, a bunch of different people, and I had them give me their Jimmy, their warrior. And I put together a all Jimmy Kelly warrior team for my final game. And I called it the Rainbow Warriors because all of them were painted different. It was a lot of fun. Don't ask me how that game went. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about the results. It's not good kill team. It's not effective. Don't bring too many Jimmies. It doesn't work. But it was fun. And but yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. I found out about that there, and it was very flattering to be part of it or have my name tied to it. It was very fun.
Well, it was a blast. We cannot thank you enough for being with us, Jimmy. It was amazing. We were speaking the past few weeks. It was very kind of you to help us do this. Your insight were very, very helpful, and we simply cannot thank you enough. Thanks for being with us.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. And just let Ratman know, next year, I will steal his code. I've thought about it. I'm not going to accept it as a gift either. If he tries to give it to me, that's not going to work. I'm going to steal it. So if he ever takes if it's ever left unattended, that's gone. So just let him know, warn him. His coat, he has 1 more year with his coat, and I will steal it. So it's glorious. It's a beautiful rat coat. It's just the best, and I must have it. I must take it.
Did he or our friends give you food over there? Alfajores? Did you get alfajores?
I'm sorry, what?
If Ratman gave you some of your candy, we call alfajor.
Oh yes.
Nice.
I got yes. Amazing.
That's a typical Argentinian food.
Oh, it was great. So he gave me one of the candies, chocolate things, right?
Yeah.
It's and I had one. I was like, that's really. But he's passing them out to other people. So then I was stealing them from other people. Like, cause some people were smart and they're like, I'm going to save this for later. I'm like, joke's on you. You don't have later. That's my candy. So I probably shouldn't admit this. So if you got one of those candies at Worlds and you're like, where'd it go? I don't know. I had it. Like, I took it. So that's what I do. So if you have fun things, don't leave them out. Which this is ironic because I feel like the Ratman energy would be the one, like the rats would go around and like grab the candy or take the coats. So maybe I was around Ratman too much. Maybe I spent too much time and I'm getting that Ratman energy, but like I feel it strong in my bones, and that's what I'm gonna do now. So that's my future going forward. So but hey, it was great talking to you guys. I appreciate you having me on. Next time I promise I'm going to send more. I'm going to send all my mojo energy to the Spanish players. Unless Canada is in there, then I have to support my homeland. So if Canada's not in there, I will support and throw everything towards the Spanish community, whether it be Spain or Argentina or whatever. So I have to balance it next year. So
we're counting on you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Nice to having you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night.
One last important
Thank
question.
You too.
A very important question.
Oh, yes, please.
How hard do you think the Legionnaires will get nerfed?
Not hard enough.
Okay.
Wait. Chicos, tengo una idea. Jimmy, I need you to trust me in this. I will say a phrase, and I need you to repeat it. No questions asked. This is to make a meme in the Argentinian community.
Okay.
I need you to repeat "era con Phobos."
Okay. No, ovos, that's egg, right? Or balls.
Phobos, like
Phobos.
Phobos, yeah.
The Kill Teams.
Phobos. Oh,
Yeah.
Phobos. Okay. Era con Phobos. Okay. Now,
Shout
I'm
it.
not going to ask what this means. I'm just going to tell him this.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout it.
Era con Phobos. I can do this. I can be trusted with simple assignments. I'm a simple man, and I can do simple assignments. I can do this. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to do a little tradesies, all right? I'll do this for you. And I am on a mission. You want to make a meme, and I want to retake something the Spanish community stole from the good-hearted, selfless English-speaking community in Kill Team.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Spanish community released a video. It's full of slander and lies, and then it hurts me to my core. It was who is the sexiest Kill Team player in Kill Team, and while Alberto Cortez might be a great coder and a great Kill Team player and a wonderful person, he's very nice, very friendly. They unanimously, every person who speaks Spanish, every single one, voted for Alberto Cortez, and he was almost unanimously elected as the sexiest man in Kill Team. And this cannot stand. One man cannot be trusted with too many titles, too much greatness. You can't be great and smart and good coder and a nice person and the sexiest. That will not stand. I will not stand for it. So at Las Vegas Open, I'm going to be doing a polling of who is the sexiest Kill Team player. And I just need the Spanish community to just stop fully supporting Alberto Cortez as the sexiest man in Kill Team. So anyone who speaks Spanish who's going to be at LVO, I know if you get polled, I know you're going to vote for Alberto Cortez, or you'll want to. You don't have to vote for me. You probably should. I mean, you probably should. That just seems reasonable and smart. But don't vote for Alberto Cortez. It's too much. We can't put that much on one man. He'll become like a god emperor and just eclipse all of us, and we'll have nothing left. So we must spread out and leave him everything else. Just don't give him the sexiest too. That's all I ask.
Stop Alberto Cortez right now.
We are slaves of his charms. We cannot help it.
Damn it. Okay, well, this is the problem. If you're the sexiest and you're the smartest and the nicest, that's the problem. I'm saying it's an unstoppable force. So, yes, we're all going to be just his minions in the future. We'll just all, under his spell. So I'm hoping we can stop it, but I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if we can stop the great Alberto Cortez.
Let it go. Be one of us. Be happy. Love Alberto.
I have to.
The Spanish once in our story, in our history, as Argentinians, we can stop it twice, right, guys?
Oh.
So this is
we made it more than once, to be honest.
Yeah. I was gonna say every country in the Americas has stopped a European country one time. Like that's every one of us. We stopped them once. That's it. Sometimes you have an honorary second time, but mostly it's just the once. Sometimes there's like a token, like
Argentinians.
Yeah,
we get the independence from Spain, and we steal football from the English. So yeah, it's
all right. Well,
football is Argentino.
What you may call soccer.
Yes, I don't call it soccer. That's terrible. Remember, I'm Canadian. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, maybe Canada calls it soccer too. I have no idea. I need to learn more about my country. So
that's not very good.
But, yeah, I'll try. But yeah, so if anyone can stop the European juggernauts, maybe it is Argentina. If you've maybe you guys have the strength to do it, but if you don't, we'll all be slaves to Alberto Cortez and his charm and his sex appeal and his brains. And it's just or you're right, maybe I just join you. And next time for Worlds, I show up with a giant shirt with Alberto's face on it. So
there's a Gene Stealer joke here somewhere.
it does feel like Gene. Yeah, maybe he is the false emperor and the four-armed emperor, and he's just changing us all to his ways.
Yeah, he needs the four-arms to go.
We are
will consume us all.
Our own app right now. Our own Kill Team app right now.
Okay.
Maybe that's how we started. We just, but I don't know if we can make a better app. His app is the best. So he has the best app. And yeah, Era con Phobos. I shall say it. I shall pass it on. I will not forget.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. It was amazing. Thank you for all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. You have a great night.
Goodbye.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bueno, volvemos después de haber tenido nuestra charla con Jimmy, agradecidos de toda la ayuda. Él intercedió con la gente de Squad Game para que podamos hacer conseguir el material. Y bueno, nada, estuvimos analizando la final, fue una cosa muy divertida. Estamos muy contentos de haber logrado esto, recibimos ayuda de mucha gente para poder hacer esto. No quería dejar de agradecer todo el esfuerzo de todo el equipo, Lautaro acá, que estuvo con el tema todo técnico, la transmisión, los micrófonos, tuvimos mini pánicos durante la transmisión, que fueron resueltos. Los chicos, Facu, Marcos, que estuvieron haciendo el análisis de todo el material de Squad Games y de BKT Granada, que uno dura 9 horas y el otro 4.
Veo la partida de mis sueños.
Sí, sí. Fue un esfuerzo muy grande entre todos, la verdad salió genial, no puedo agradecer lo suficiente. Y bueno, ahora volvemos a las noticias locales, después de haber tenido nuestra dosis de imperialismo, vamos a manejarnos como ya conocemos.
¿Le podemos dedicar el video anterior a Conde, que es el cumpleaños?
Ah, es verdad. Feliz cumpleaños, Conde.
El video en inglés se lo dedicamos a Conde, para el cumple.
Feliz cumpleaños,
Happy
Conde.
birthday.
Bueno, pero le hicimos decir era con Fogos.
Sí.
Así que, genial. Para mencionar, Imaginario volvió a abrir sus puertas, volvió a abrir las puertas del salón de juegos, volvimos a nuestro lugar, volvimos a poder jugar, a encontrarnos. Irónicamente un poco menos nosotros, porque por ponernos a grabar no estamos jugando, así que eso un poco de ironía de esa parte.
Aprecien el sacrificio.
Imaginario volvió a abrir sus puertas, vamos a volver a encontrarnos mucho más seguido, vamos a poder jugar, que es lo que nos gusta. Y bueno, nada, comuníquense con nosotros, vamos a organizar partidas, no tenemos preferencia para jugar con nadie. Aquellos que quieran practicar Kill Team 3, ahí siempre va a haber alguien para explicar, ya sea cualquiera de nosotros o la gente de ahí, que es siempre buena onda. No quiero dejar de mencionar, ya que se habló bastante de Ratman en esta ocasión, están enamorados con Ratman, allá es nuestro embajador. Warp Games, el club al cual pertenece Ratman allá en Córdoba, del cual Gallo también, fundador, tiene un torneo el 2 y 3 de marzo, Córdoba Open. Me escribieron exclusivamente para hacerme aclarar que es un torneo mundial. Va a venir gente de todo el mundo.
De toda la galaxia.
Van a ir, sí, yanquis, van a ir de Perú, van a ir de todos lados, parece que van a ir de Uruguay también, me dijeron, muy probablemente. Estamos todos invitados, todos vamos a ir a dormir a la casa de Ratman, que nada, vive en una alcantarilla, así que eso siempre estuvo al alcance. Así que me pidieron que estén atentos, métanse al Instagram de Wargames, escríbanles, moléstenlos, pregúntenles, que les encanta. Son gente muy copada, muy amable, muy amorosa y, bueno, sobre todo excelentes jugadores. Así que, bueno, por ese lado. Por otro lado, BKT junto con Imaginario para fin de año, para enero, en enero vamos a organizar un torneo. Va a ser un torneo grande, de al menos 20 personas, al menos, y de 4 rondas. Va a ser un torneo jodido, un torneo culo duro, como el que nos gusta a nosotros. Vamos a encontrarnos y nos vamos a matar, y después que me termine nos vamos a abrazar. Pero mientras tanto nos vamos a matar, en el medio de todo eso. Así que prepárense. No tenemos fecha exacta todavía, pero ya está en camino, ya se está movilizando, ya están todas las ruedas girando. Y por otro lado, queremos insinuar, no anunciar, insinuar, que quizás antes de fin de año tengamos un mini torneo brindis, pero este ya sería más un encuentro, más un intercambio, como para celebrar que nos volvimos a encontrar y bueno, continuar con la vieja tradición de que nos veníamos juntando el año pasado para brindar. Así que nada, y bueno, lo que tiene también este torneo que tenemos ganas de hacer ahora en diciembre, a ver si sale, tiene fines recaudatorios, porque queremos tener más terreno, queremos tener mejor terreno, y terreno que sea nuestro. Así, nada, podemos tener mejor equipo.
Ayúdennos a ayudarnos.
Sí, ayúdennos, ayudarnos y ayúdense ustedes, porque van a venir a jugar. Así que esos son los anuncios que tenemos el día de hoy. Estamos agotados, hicimos de todo. Así que nada, Marcos, ¿algo para decir?
Me queda muy poca batería.
Suficiente. Así que bueno, Facu, qué bueno volver a tenerte, te extrañamos. Esto fue muy bueno. Así que bueno, nada, estamos acá, gracias al autor de vuelta por todo el aguante que estuvo haciendo. Él es el andamio por el cual esto se sostiene. Y bueno, gracias por todo, chicos. Y gracias a todos los que nos ven. Y gracias por los comentarios, que no son muchos, pero los apreciamos. Porque comentan los que importan. Sépanlo. Así que bueno.
Comenten ustedes.
Sí, sí. Así que bueno, muchas gracias. Ah, otra cosa. Seguimos con la intención de armar el meta argentino. Comenten en los comentarios en el espacio de comentarios de YouTube de dónde son y qué facción juegan. Por favor, queremos saber qué se juega en dónde y quiénes. Porque nos vamos a ir a buscar. Así que bueno, muchas gracias por todo. Buenas noches, buenos Kill Team de nuevo y hasta la próxima.